You're glad your brother did the whole interview because you're not forced to drink Feldschlo. Here we go. From the can as well.
I have to cover the label.
You don't even get a glass.
I'm glad I don't get a glass.
Would you be able to introduce yourself first?
I'm Toby, I'm the brewer at Blackwell Brewery, and I'm the other half of Blackwell Brewery. I mean, I have to say, it's not a bad beer. It's maybe not according to your taste, but it's not bad. It's a solid beer. It's absolutely not my type of beer because it's sweet. But yeah, I mean, they know what they're doing because they sell their beer really well. So, yeah.
And apart from maybe a more sustainably produced beer, why would you potentially choose to drink a Burgdorfer Helles compared to a Feldschlo in Original? Historically speaking.
I mean, nowadays it's super crucial, at least in my opinion, to invest or buy product from local producers so that the money stays where it's actually, it sounds stupid, but where it's needed. Because where we are in the Emmental, there is not that much going on, so it's crucial to have local producers which you can help by buying their product. And that's why I don't buy Feldschlo, because half of the money, well, I don't know the percentage, but
it's even leaving the country, not only the region.
Exactly, a lot of the money is leaving the country, and I don't know the people working at Feldschlo. And then in comparison, the Burgdorf, I know them. They're cool guys. They're doing their beer since 20 years now in Burgdorf. And for Burgdorf, it's the best thing beer-wise which could happen in the last year. Because before Burgdorf, like everywhere in Switzerland, there was just Feldschlo. But nowadays, for Feldschlo, it's super hard to sell their beer in Burgdorf because the locals say, well, I don't drink Feldschlo, we have Burgdorf. And they do their beer really, really well.
I specifically asked you, apart from sustainability, simply based on sensorics, why would you choose the Helles compared to the lager?
For me, it's more complex, the Burgdorfer.
It's more malt focused and malt forward as well.
It's more malt forward, and also the layers in the beer are much more refined. Frankly, I don't taste that many layers in Feldschlo, but that's on purpose. I mean, it's
because it doesn't offend anybody.
Exactly.
Part of the drinkability and the general appeal of the lager.
Exactly. But that's
specifically the Feldschlo.
Yeah, but I'm not looking for a standard beer. That's why I'd rather choose Burgdorfer than Feldschlo.
And just 2 sentences about why you're positioning yourself in your main range with a saison instead of a lager or a Helles. Of course there's tradition, of course there's a dryness, of course there's an acidity that comes through, not only style-wise but with the dryness, that for me accentuates the qualities of the style and makes it just as drinkable, especially with the Assemblage and the white wine barrels, just as complex. But still, why? How do you come up with using a saison to position yourself against the lager?
I mean, from a production standpoint, it's quite easy. We don't do lagers, so that's why we can't brew lagers. Our brew kit is DIY, so we can't cool, we can't temperature control, so it's impossible to make a proper lager. And that's why we had to choose a beer style which is suitable to brew like a lager, so to not from the production standpoint, but from the flavors. And that's why we've chosen a saison, because saison is such a huge beer style. There are so many varieties of saisons, and there is absolutely no reason why you should not drink a saison because you don't like beer, because there are so many different varieties of saison. I'm sure that there is a saison for every beer drinker.
There you go. Wine barrels, peaches, grapes. The grapes are Riesling, the peaches are Red Vineyard.
That's more like it. Yeah.
It's not only a challenge, it's certainly something which is analog to wine, complex, and each saison different, right? Every year, the same style, the same fruits, the same measurements, but a very different result. Based on the conditions of the aging as well as the conditions of the products that you're using. Because it's a seasonal product, which of course is very much influenced by its surroundings.
Yeah, I really like this one. It's much more complex, yeah. And it has, the drinkability of it is insane. I mean, it's super dry, the sourness cuts well through it.
Especially compared to the peach beer we tasted with Jonathan from Mikkeller. This is even less acidic in the sense of a more balanced, like a wine feeling. I don't know. I don't think it's just because it's older or something, but because the sweetness of the grapes and the peaches very much balance themselves out. And
Yeah.
there is a sweetness there that also takes the aggressiveness away from the acidity. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not a harsh sourness. It's much more subtle, more drinkable, which in the end makes the beer much more palatable.
Your brother said something about the Feldschlo, the Saison, and the Helles having the same pH, but because of different levels of malt and hops. You have the acidity coming through in the style of Saison compared to. Would you agree that the pH of your Saison could be the same pH than the Feldschlo lager and the Helles? But the acidity that you taste because there is dryness there. There are certain aspects which, when they're dialed down, other aspects come through much more. Like the acidity in the style-true sense of the Saison.
I mean, it's much more difficult to hide or try to cover up the sourness if you don't have a full-bodied beer or sugars. And I mean, we can brew a beer with the pH like a lager hell, but my view on our Saison is that I like if the beer has a part of the beer should be sourness, because it rounds out the whole palate. It makes, for me at least, the beer much more drinkable and much more refreshing. And if I imagine as a field farmer worker, it's a hot summer's day, I don't drink Feldschlo. I rather prefer a beer with a lot of sourness, which helps then to make it much more refreshing.
Will you be in attendance as well at the beer dome?
I don't know. I don't know my production schedule. Don't know.
But you're hoping.
I hope so.